April 2024. The USS Carney detects ballistic missiles launched from Iran toward Israel. The destroyer fires Standard Missile 3 interceptors, and those missiles destroy incoming threats not through explosions, but through pure kinetic energy, hitting ballistic warheads in space at closing velocities exceeding 20,000 miles per hour. No blast radius, no fragmentation warhead, no proximity fuse. Impact energy alone equals destruction. This was the first combat employment of SM-3, and it validated a concept that separates this weapon from almost every other naval system. The missile does not explode, it collides. The Pentagon calls it hit to kill. The physics are simple, the engineering is not. SM-3 delivers 130 megajoules of kinetic energy at point of impact. That is equivalent to a 10-ton truck traveling at 600 miles per hour, or 31 kilograms of TNT. Except the energy release is not chemical. It is purely kinetic, momentum transferred instantaneously at hypersonic collision speeds. Traditional missiles carry explosive warheads. They detonate near targets, relying on blast overpressure and fragmentation to cause damage. Proximity fuses trigger detonation when the missile passes within lethal radius, typically tens of meters for anti-aircraft missiles, smaller for precision weapons. SM-3 has no explosive. It must physically strike the target, miss by meters, and the intercept fails. There is no margin for error provided by blast effects or fragmentation. This requirement drives every aspect of the design. The infrared seeker must maintain lock through terminal phase. The divert and attitude control system must execute fine corrections with sub-meter precision. And the closing geometry must position the kill vehicle for direct impact, despite both objects traveling at orbital velocities. The challenge is hitting a bullet with a bullet, except both bullets are hypersonic. Both are maneuvering. And the engagement occurs in the vacuum of space where atmospheric drag and aerodynamic forces do not exist. SM-3 intercepts targets outside Earth's atmosphere, not at high altitude within the atmosphere, outside it entirely. Ballistic missiles follow predictable trajectories after boost phase ends. They coast through space, exoatmospheric midcourse, before re-entering atmosphere for terminal descent. This midcourse phase can last minutes for intermediate range missiles, longer for intercontinental threats. And during that phase, warheads travel through vacuum along ballistic arcs determined by physics. SM-3 exploits that predictability. The interceptor launches from surface ships or Aegis ashore sites. 3 solid fuel rocket stages accelerate the missile to orbital velocities. The first stage, Mk-72 booster, provides initial launch thrust. The second stage, Mk-104 dual thrust rocket motor, sustains acceleration through atmosphere. And the third stage, Mk-136 rocket motor, propels the interceptor into space. At that point, the kill vehicle separates. This is the actual weapon. The missile body was delivery infrastructure. The kill vehicle is what performs the intercept. Weighing merely 13 pounds in early versions, the lightweight exo-atmospheric projectile uses infrared sensors to detect target heat signatures against the cold background of space. It carries no fuel in traditional sense, only solid fuel thrusters for divert maneuvers. And it uses those thrusters to adjust trajectory during final approach, compensating for target motion and refining intercept geometry. The timeline is compressed, boost phase ends, mid-course begins, SM-3 launches, climbs into space, and releases its kill vehicle. The kill vehicle searches, acquires, tracks, and intercepts, all before the hostile warhead re-enters atmosphere. By the time SM-3 hits, cities are never threatened yet. The engagement happens hundreds of kilometers above Earth, long before warheads descend toward targets. This is space warfare, launched from ships. The missile is delivery infrastructure. The kill vehicle is precision weapon. Derived from technology explored during Strategic Defense Initiative research, the kill vehicle combines infrared seeker, miniaturized electronics, and divert thrusters into a package originally weighing 13 pounds. Modern variants are larger. The Block 2A kill vehicle incorporates enhanced sensors and longer endurance, but the concept remains: autonomous intercept through direct collision. The infrared seeker operates in long-wave bands, detecting thermal emissions from targets against the near absolute zero background temperature of space. Unlike radar seekers that emit energy and process returns, infrared seekers are passive. They detect without revealing themselves. And in space, where stealth is difficult to achieve, passive sensing provides significant advantage. The throttleable divert and attitude control system, TDACS, enables fine maneuvering. Small solid fuel thrusters fire in pulses, adjusting the kill vehicle's trajectory with precision measured in centimeters per second of velocity change. This allows course corrections that would be impossible using aerodynamic control surfaces, which do not function in vacuum. Block 1B variants upgraded to solid TDACS with 10 individual thrusters, providing improved capability against maneuvering warheads. Block 2A further enhanced the system with larger motors and more sophisticated targeting algorithms, enabling intercepts against advanced threats, employing evasive maneuvers. The kill vehicle receives continual mid-course updates from the launching ship via GPS. Aegis radar tracks both the interceptor and the target, calculating refined intercept solutions and transmitting course corrections. The kill vehicle incorporates those updates, adjusting trajectory to maintain optimal geometry. And during terminal phase, the kill vehicle transitions to autonomous operation. It searches for the target using infrared sensors, acquires lock, discriminates the warhead from debris or decoys, and maneuvers for direct impact. This is closer to spacecraft intercept than missile strike. The engagement occurs in space. The weapon is autonomous, and success requires precision navigation, target discrimination, and terminal maneuvering beyond what atmospheric interceptors demand. SM-3 does not work alone. It requires Aegis combat system providing detection, tracking, fire control, and mid-course guidance. The ship may never directly see the target itself. Aegis receives tracking data from satellites detecting the hostile launch through infrared signatures, or from ground-based radars monitoring ballistic missile trajectories, or from other ships positioned closer to the launch point. This is networked warfare. One platform detects, another platform engages, and coordination happens through data links sharing targeting data across the battle space. SPY-1 and SPY-6 radars aboard Aegis ships provide local tracking once targets enter radar range. These phased array radars scan volumes of sky continuously, detecting and tracking dozens of objects simultaneously. When SM-3 launches, Aegis radar tracks both the interceptor and the incoming threat, calculating intercept geometry and transmitting mid-course updates. Cooperative engagement capability enables multiple ships to share tracking data, improving solution accuracy through multi-sensor fusion. A ship firing SM-3 can receive targeting inputs from destroyers hundreds of miles away, expanding engagement range beyond what single-ship sensors would support. And Aegis automates much of the engagement sequence. Operators supervise, but the system performs detection, classification, threat evaluation, weapon assignment, launch, and mid-course guidance faster than manual processes allow. Against ballistic missiles traveling at several kilometers per second, automation is not optional. It is required. Before SM-3, missile defense was fixed. Patriot batteries defend specific locations. Ground-based mid-course defense sites protect national territory from specific threat axes. Adversaries know where these systems are and can plan around them. SM-3 makes missile defense mobile. Aegis destroyers carrying the interceptor can deploy anywhere with water access. They position dynamically based on threat developments. And they provide coverage that adapts to changing operational requirements. This forces adversaries to account for missile defense coverage they cannot precisely map. A ballistic missile targeting one location may encounter SM-3 from ships positioned unpredictably along the flight path. And because ships can reposition within days, defensive coverage changes faster than adversaries can adjust targeting. Japan operates SM-3 aboard Aegis-equipped destroyers. South Korea procured the system for next-generation Aegis ships. Poland hosts Aegis ashore sites equipped with SM-3 Block 2A interceptors. And the United States maintains continuous forward deployment across multiple fleets. This distributed architecture creates overlapping coverage zones. A missile launched from one location might transit through engagement ranges of multiple ships positioned across its trajectory. And each ship represents an independent intercept opportunity. Destroyers become roaming missile defense nodes, repositionable based on intelligence about launch preparations, diplomatic developments, or operational priorities. The flexibility fundamentally changes deterrence calculations. This is strategic insight worth emphasis. SM-3 replaces some roles traditionally performed by fighters and bombers. Aircraft provide flexible strike capability, intelligence collection, and defensive counter-air. But they require pilots, maintenance, tanker support, and bases. And they operate in sortie cycles, intermittent presence, rather than continuous coverage. SM-3 intercepts threats without pilots, operates continuously as long as the ship remains on station, removes risk to air crews, and provides defensive capability that does not require air superiority to employ. In budget terms, one interceptor shot may replace an entire air patrol mission. 4 fighters maintaining combat air patrol for 8 hours, burn fuel, accumulate flight hours, and tie up maintenance capacity. One destroyer on station carries 16 to 24 SM-3 interceptors, providing continuous readiness without sortie limitations. This creates inter-service tension. Air Force budgets support fighters. Navy budgets support ships and missiles. And when ships perform missions previously requiring aircraft, the resource allocation debates shift. The effectiveness comparison is not straightforward. Fighters provide capabilities SM-3 cannot: offensive strike, reconnaissance, suppression of enemy air defenses. But for ballistic missile defense specifically, SM-3 offers advantages aircraft struggle to match: continuous presence, rapid response, and engagement from positions fighters cannot safely occupy. SM-3 is marketed as defensive. The physics allow offensive application. In 2008, SM-3 destroyed satellite USA-193 during Operation Burnt Frost. The target was a malfunctioning reconnaissance satellite in decaying orbit. The intercept occurred at approximately 250 kilometers altitude, well within SM-3's engagement envelope. This demonstrated anti-satellite capability without formally designating SM-3 as an ASAT weapon. The system can reach low Earth orbit. It can track and intercept objects traveling at orbital velocities, and it provides the Navy with capability to target satellites if National Command Authority orders such employment. The expanded range of Block 2A interceptors extends this capability to higher orbits. Concerns about debris creation limit utility. Kinetic collisions with satellites produce thousands of fragments that threaten other spacecraft. But the capability exists regardless of whether peacetime policy permits its use. From adversary perspective, SM-3 represents dual-use technology. Ships carrying the interceptor provide missile defense, but those same ships could target satellites during conflict, degrading space-based reconnaissance, communications, and navigation that modern military operations depend upon. This ambiguity complicates space security discussions. Arms control advocates seek treaties limiting anti-satellite weapons. But how do you regulate a missile defense interceptor that incidentally possesses ASAT capability? The technology does not distinguish between ballistic warheads and satellites. Physics determines what the weapon can intercept. Policy determines what it will intercept. SM-3 existence changes how adversaries design ballistic missiles. They cannot assume warheads will coast uncontested through mid-course phase. They must account for intercept attempts and incorporate countermeasures. This drives complexity and cost. Decoys require additional payload mass. Maneuvering warheads need propulsion and guidance. Penetration aids consume volume that could carry explosive yield. And every countermeasure increases missile weight, reducing range, or requiring larger boosters. China developed DF-21D and DF-26 with maneuverable warheads specifically to complicate mid-course intercepts. North Korea tested missiles with multiple re-entry vehicles and separating stages designed to confuse tracking. Iran employs submunitions that separate during descent, creating multiple targets from single missiles. SM-3 does not stop every threat, but it forces threats to become more expensive and complex. Adversaries spend resources developing countermeasures. Those resources divert from other military capabilities, and the cost imposition is ongoing. Every improvement to SM-3 requires corresponding adversary response. This is deterrence through cost imposition, not preventing attack entirely, making attack prohibitively expensive relative to likely success. SM-3 does not sink ships. It does not strike cities. It does not project power forward, but it reshapes how wars could start. Ballistic missiles provide adversaries with capability to inflict damage rapidly before defenses mobilize. The calculus assumes early salvos succeed, creating strategic effects that complicate defense responses. If early missile strikes fail, if SM-3 intercepts enough warheads that intended damage does not occur, escalation paths collapse. This makes SM-3 strategically powerful without ever firing in anger. The system's existence alters adversary planning. Attacks that would succeed without missile defense become risky with it, and risk makes decision-makers cautious. The weapon is invisible in the sense that successful deterrence prevents scenarios requiring its use. Ships patrol. SM-3 sits ready in vertical launch cells, and potential adversaries adjust their planning because the interceptor exists, not because it has engaged targets. This is structural influence. The weapon's mere presence changes the strategic environment, and that influence is quiet, not dramatic, not visible during peacetime, but decisive in shaping whether conflicts occur and how they might unfold if deterrence fails.